Mercedes has had many good times and bad times this year. Even though they're having their worst F1 season since 2013, the German team thinks they can make things better later this season. Hamilton right now has his longest time without winning a race in his whole career, and for sure Russell thought he would win at least one race for Mercedes by now. Even though they haven't won any races, they are only 35 points behind Ferrari in the championship. Both Mercedes drivers and also the Mercedes engine are really reliable. Russell is only 7 points behind Sergio Perez and only 16 points behind Leclerc, who is second place right now in the Drivers' Championship. Hamilton, who had a slow start this year because his car was bouncing around too much, got 5 podium finishes in a row between the Canadian and Hungarian Grand Prix. He is currently 35 points behind his teammate, which is the biggest gap he has had compared to any teammate since 2016. Even though Toto Wolff and his team really want to get second place in the team championship, this goal might hurt them badly for the 2023 season. Most of the rules stay the same, but there will be required changes to the floor height, front wing rules, and new safety bar construction. Even worse is the fact that Mercedes still can't figure out a clear way how to build their 2023 car. Toto Wolff recently complained about how slow his team is. In an interview with Sky Sports he said, "I don't think you can be happy when you see Verstappen racing against himself. We have to figure out how can make our car better. The gap is just too big." Red Bull is already working hard in their 2023 car, and with their amazing low air resistance design, have a huge advantage over the German team. Since the beginning off-season, Mercedes has had trouble finding speed. This is totally different compared to the big smiles that we saw before the season started when Mercedes showed off their zero-side pod design. The design was built to give Ian air advantage while making lots of downforce. While the wind tunnel show a great hope, there was little connection on the track. Even now, while being 2/3 through the season, Mercedes not only loses on track toward Bull, but also off track. Toto Wolff said to race fans, "Net. It's not like I think we've found the perfect answer, and we understand everything, and it's going to be amazing next year. This is now a really important time. Really over the next 1 or 2 months we need, with some accuracy, to understand what needs to be done for next year. So how will Mercedes build their car? What side pod design does Russell want to use? Will Mercedes have a good chance of catching up with Red Bull next year? And what did Red Bull say about their 2023 car? Let's find out. Red Bull, with Max Verstappen, has been winning the last 5 races, and nothing shows that anyone can stop the Dutch driver. Red Bull managed to fix their tire problems, while also making their car grip better and turn better in the slower corners. Where they first were slow in slow speed corners and lost time to Mercedes and Ferrari, they now gain time there too. This is really frustrating for the German team, who have been used to winning F1 since 2014. Hamilton said in an interview with Mirror, "It is almost impossible to beat Red Bull this year. They are ahead of everyone. We haven't caught up with them and there won't be any upgrades this year to close the gap. We could have beaten them in Zandvoort and Budapest. However, it is 1,000 times more fun to fight with other drivers, instead of starting from the best position." Right before the summer break, Toto Wolff called Verstappen's winning "beringend," not good for the sport. This is weird because Wolff wasn't happy to make any rule changes during the Mercedes winning years because he was afraid of losing their advantage. Andrew Shovlin, Mercedes director Trackside Engineering, even said that the 2022 rules have failed so far. He said to Motorsport Week, "It seems that Red Bull is clearly the fastest team, so the races are kind of more predictable compared to the end of last year. It has been a little easier to follow, and some races got more exciting because of it. We also hoped that their rule changes would mix up the order, but we still have a pretty similar order from fastest to slowest team. But how is Mercedes going to close the gap for next year?" A question people ask a lot is whether the German team will change their no-side pod design. Shovlin said to international media, "Normally, you would say that the team with the fastest car has the best design. That would be Red Bull right now. Where it goes next year is hard to say. There are some rule changes that will affect how teams will build their cars. Many fans say that Mercedes needs to build a similar design like Red Bull. But is this even possible? Many teams have tried to copy things from other teams, hoping that it will make their own car faster. A good and recent example is Haas and Aston Martin, where Aston Martin built a Red Bull copy. Haas made changes that made their car look more like Ferrari. In both cases, the difference in speed between the top team and the copy cars was still big. But why are the copy versions not just as fast? F1 cars are really complicated, and the body parts that we see are just a tiny part of the whole design of a car. All the parts of a car are built to work together with each other. However, it often happens when a team copies something from another team. Phantom work is actually lost and even makes the car slower. A good example was the pink Mercedes in 2021. After successfully copying the 2020 Mercedes, things went badly during the 2021 season. The floor rule changes made the car not work together anymore and failed to be competitive, while Mercedes was still fighting for the championship. One person has a clear idea how to move forward is George Russell. In an interview with Ploeg said, "I don't think that anything is off limits yet. We have a unique design with the side pods. It isn't decided whether we continue with the design, but we also don't rule out that we will change the whole idea of the car. Whether we have wide or small side pods, it won't cause a big change in how well we do. We have to keep building the car. Next year will be an improved version of this year's car, and I do feel we have a good direction how to build the car." Russell also talks about the strong and weak points of the car. "There is no doubt that we are very good at managing tire temperature. Compared to Ferrari, we do an excellent job managing the tires, and our grip coming out off corners is good as well. We need to improve our top speed and how stable we are in the corners. Something that isn't working for Mercedes is the money limit and limited computer and wind tunnel testing. Even though the German team will lose out on many millions if they were to finish third in the standings, it would give them more money to spend in more hours tows in the computer and wind tunnel. This might work in their favor with the upcoming rule changes. These rule changes, along with limited wind tunnel and computer time, is also what worries Red Bull head engineer Paul Monahan. So how does Red Bull look at the 2023 season? In an interview with Motorsport magazine, he said, "I am not sure whether it helps us that we do well this year. We have to at least start on the same level as our competitors. We have to understand their rule changes to the height and stiffness of the floor for next year. If we manage to understand these changes, then I am sure we start at the front next year." Red Bull is already moving their focus to the 2023 car, since their big leads in both team and drivers' championship let them do so. But while the Austrian team has their focus on next year, Toto Wolff admitted there is another problem for building the W14. In an interview with Motorsport.com said, "The problems matching our computer tests with real track performance in different areas of the car is causing us to not do well. Maybe there is one single thing that covers up everything, and so we are not being fair to question every part of the car. The matching problems are terrible for any F1 team, but especially since the wind tunnel and computer time is more limited since this year. The money limit also makes it impossible to make lots of parts test and see which one makes the car perform better. It is clear that Mercedes has tons of work to do for the 2023 season, and they have to get past many problems if they want to seriously challenge Red Bull next year." Do you think Mercedes can fight for the championship next year? Let me know in the comment section below.